How the hell you doing, YouTube? I'm Brain Smasher, and I'm back with a collection update to thrill your life to pieces. It seems like it's been a while. Thanks for joining me once again. Just gonna talk to you about the music I've bought since we last spoke. While I flap my gums, we're gonna be listening to, I love this album so fucking much, Skagos. This is Ast. Originally released on cassette by Eternal Warfare, reissued on LP by Placenta Urfolk. Beautiful gatefold record. I love this album so fucking much. If you're into something like Falls of Raras, or any of that other sort of new wave, maybe post black metal, maybe sort of indie, atmospheric sort of stuff, definitely, please check out Skagos' Ast. One of my favorite records. So, let's see, what do we got to talk about? Bog Phantom's back. Holy shit. I just felt like, I don't know, it felt like a void in my YouTube watching experience to have Bog Phantom not putting out any videos. And I couldn't even go back and watch his old videos. Anyway, it's good to have you back, man. I know it'll probably be a while before you have a chance to watch this, but it's good to have you back. Things just kind of feel okay again. Let's see. I've got a couple of CDs, an LP to tell you, and a bunch of bullshit to fill your mind with, I guess. So last weekend, as you saw, I went up to my buddy's house and we did a video together. That's not good. And we also visited a record store. Now, he lives about 45 minutes away from me in the city I moved from about a year ago, and it didn't have a record store when I moved away, but now it does. It's cool to see. It's not like a metal section or anything. It's not a big store. It's actually vinyl only. It's called Analog Vault, and they just do a really good job of curating a collection of cheaper stuff and not selling the garbage. In fact, I was really impressed with when you first walk up to the record store, there's bins and bins and bins of free LPs. And I just love that they're like, you don't need to look at this stuff. You can have it if you want it. You know, the Barbra Streisands and the Barry Manilow fucking LPs that we have all seen a million times thumbing our shit through vinyl. So it's good stuff in the store. And everything is, you know, about $10 or less or so. There's a couple of new releases here and there, but a lot of it is some vintage stuff. And so it's just so nice to go through vinyl and not have to look through all that fucking garbage, the Seals and Crofts and shit like that. So anyways, I found something kind of weird. I had to get it. It was $9 and I felt like supporting the record store, you know? So this LP is the Baker Gervil Army. That was the selling point. And the album is called Elysian Encounter. And this came out in, of course, since it's on video, I don't know what year it came out. I don't know, I'm gonna guess like 73, something like that. Just a bunch of lyrics. The album cover was painted by Joe Patagno. Alright, sorry about that. Technical difficulties, my CD started skipping, so I put on the LP. I thought about putting it on tape too because I have it on CD, LP, and tape. That's how much I love Skagos' Ast. Anyways, so this Baker Gervil Army, weird release. It's the kind of thing I don't really allow in my collection very much, but I was just, you know, I was feeling frisky and I bought a weird LP. A couple of years ago, I just needed the space for my metal LPs, and I got rid of all the stuff like the Boston and whatever else. I actually have some Boston LPs, but you know, like the shit in your collection that you paid like $1 for just because you like that song on the radio or whatever, and you just wind up with a bunch of garbage like that. And so I just purged all that stuff a couple of years ago, but I don't know, this is pretty interesting. It's some kind of progressive stuff, kind of reminds me of Gentle Giant. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily recommending listening to it, but if this sounds interesting to you, by all means, the Baker Gervil Army's Elysian Encounter. Some more interesting stuff I've gotten in on CD, starting with Draugnim. This is their album Vulturine from 2016 on Debiber Morty Productions. Now, I've thought a lot about what to tell you about this band. First of all, the artwork, if I saw this in a record store, I would pass it up in a second. This just looks so boring. Like, really, a lot of things about this wouldn't appeal to me ordinarily. But one of you guys, I think one of my YouTube subscribers, mentioned this album in the comments that this was their favorite album of the year. And when someone says that, usually I'll be like, all right, I'll give it a listen, see what's up. Checked it out, and immediately I was just fucking hooked. Hook, line, and sinker. I was in there. It's nothing all that original or groundbreaking by any fucking means. Just fucking great songwriting. I guess the closest thing I would compare it to, and I fucking hate Amon Amarth, would be Amon Amarth, I guess. It's just like middle of the road, no frills, nothing too fancy, just well done, well produced songwriting with some clever little hooks and tricks and kind of stuff like that. I had to pick it up on Amazon for like $9 or something like that. But yeah, Dragnum Vulturine, there's a Finnish band. The band is from Finland. I might wind up checking out some of their other stuff because this is a pretty good record. Just lots of interesting riffing. And I can't really think of anything else to compare it to because it's just not all that original. It's just great. Just really good stuff. Next, I got in... So a couple videos ago, I talked about Brolvanatu's Menstrual Extraction Ceremony. I decided to put this album on my wish list. This is the newer album from Brolvanatu, Frozen Obscene Deliverance. This was put out by Devil Cult Ritualism in 2015, I want to say. There was somebody on Discogs was selling this for fairly cheap, so I decided to pick it up. Man, it's fucking good. This act is so underrated. I highly recommend checking out Brolvanatu if you haven't. Booklet's just kind of boring, a lot of lyrics. And a poster of the album cover, which, I don't know. I don't really understand why he went to the effort of having someone paint this. I'm pretty sure I could go to Goodwill and find a book with this on the cover or a painting or something like that. Didn't really do much for me. And Brolvanatu's paintings, which have adorned some of his album covers, are really, really awesome. In the Menstrual Extraction Ceremony, the CD version is just chock full of his amazing paintings. So, a little bit of a bummer packaging-wise, but this album, phenomenal, fucking dark, ritualistic, chaotic sort of stuff. Usually when bands are this so nasty, underground, and just ridden with filth and mirth, the musicality and the riffing and just intelligence to the songwriting just goes straight out the fucking window. But really here you get it all. Great songwriting, super interesting instrumentation and sort of melodic sort of harmonies going on. Really interesting stuff, and it's super fucking nasty. Can't recommend this enough. Brolvanatu. Next, so I decided today is the last day that I'm going to allow myself to listen to this album because I've been listening to this record for probably 3 weeks straight. Probably once a day for about 3 weeks straight. It's so fucking addictive and great. I'm going to do a full review of this, so check that out. But this band is called Heol Telwen, and the album is called An Diaz Ruse. This is a Celtic folk black metal band. I'm not going to divulge too much about it. Check out my review, but God, this is so fucking good. Wait for my review on it. So next, I got a couple of CDs from my buddy's distro, Pagan Flames, which I also used to help run. Oh shit, busted the case on this one. Anyway, this is Misanthropical Pain Forest. Now, if that's not the worst album cover I've ever seen, and band name as far as I'm concerned, I don't know. Maybe I fucked up in buying this CD. I think I've heard one of their other albums. I think what happened was this band has one good album and one terrible album, and this is the bad one, and I want to get the good one. I'm gonna have to do some more research on this, so I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But what I do know is that this is a side project of someone from Wormflem, which is a band I'm pretty obsessed with. So yeah, I just took a chance, and my odds of getting the right album, I guess, were 50%, and I lost. Next is a CD from Embryonal. The album is called The Devil Inside. This is fucking awesome death metal. If you're into Angel Corpse, check this out. I thought about a couple other comparisons, but I forgot them. in the way that I guess take a band like Devourment. I fucking hate Devourment for one, but I think really all I hear when I hear Devourment is drumming with chunky riffing that just mimics the drums. So fast part, slow part, brutal part, breakdown, fast part, slow part, brutal part, breakdown, over and over and over and over again. This is kind of like that in a way that it isn't all that multi-dimensional. It's kind of one-dimensional percussion-wise. It's just kind of got a lot of those back and forth sort of songwriting, which isn't all that enthralling, but the riffing is really, really great, and it makes the whole album really nice to digest. I can't remember if this band is from, is it Mexico? I think the band is from Poland and the album is from Mexico. That looks right. I should have done my research, I suppose. Anyways, check this out. It's fucking great death metal. The one thing that keeps me away from listening to a lot of death metal bands anymore is how they're just brutal. They're just pushing the atmosphere, trying to be violent, and that's fine, that's fun. But at the end of the day, it's beating a dead fucking horse into the ground 6 feet under, and it gets really old. So when they adopt some musicality and some intelligence to it, it just makes a world of difference, and I think that's really where this shines for me. Embryonal, The Devil Inside. Yeah, the label is Polish, the band is Mexican. I think I'm correct there. Next is an album I've been waiting to get for quite a while. Horns Hermum Tong, or Termum Hong, yeah, that's it. Still listening to this record, still deciding what I think of it. There's a lot to say about it. I love this band to death. I've been following this guy's project since Naturecraft came out, and it's been really great to see him get some recognition. However, this album so far is kind of leaving a lot to be desired. I think he's kind of going for like a wider audience, writing some more, I guess, percussive riffing is what's annoying me about this kind of stuff. It's just a little more like thematic, sort of big time European kind of music, rather than what he usually does, which is very interesting, intricate harmonies, super musical kind of stuff that I really, really dig. So this is kind of a departure. The production value is way up there. It sounds amazing. It just seems like he's reaching for a wider audience and maybe kind of losing me there. However, that being said, the last song on this album is fucking phenomenal because it was written by my buddy Ron, who is in my last video. Now, a little bit of backstory. Ron and I have collaborated on a solo project, which is mainly his, but I kind of help him here and there for his releases, and he does a great job on his own. And a couple years ago, he released an album called Coven of the Wolves. I should have just gotten a copy of it anyways. Coven of the Wolves had a song on it called The Sky Has Not Always Been This Way. Amazing song. It's super dreary. It's got an interesting story to it. And so Horn has decided to cover his song on this album. And the reason this all took place, I guess, is that Ron and I decided to re-release Horn's Naturecraft album on LP on Pagan Flames back in 2011 or something like that. So we began corresponding and kind of got to be friends with Horn. And so it's super cool to see his song get a wider audience through Horn and get some recognition, and to have it played by the guy from Horn is just super cool to hear him kind of interpret it and kind of make it his own sort of thing. And what's awesome is about it is that he covered the song, but he has my friend Ron singing on this version of it. So please check that out. It's a great fucking song. This is a pretty good album, but like I said, I'm still kind of processing it and seeing what I think of it. It's not bad by any means. It's just maybe not what I was expecting, and maybe just I need to open up and let it be what it is, maybe. But we'll see. I'm happy to have a copy of it. I pretty much want to have everything that he does. He's also in Crossvault, if that interests you. But yeah, that's Horns, Termum Hung. Yeah, we'll talk about that more later. Next, so today, I was at Goodwill buying some weird stuff, just looking around. Bought a harmonica. I don't know how to make this thing sound sad and depressing. I don't know, but I bought a harmonica. And also I was looking through the CDs, and I found a black metal CD. This is a band called Ezurit, and I actually have their first album, Infernal Dominatio, which came out in like 97, 98, 99, something like that. This is their second release, which actually has some of the first songs that they wrote on it, and I paid $1.88 for the CD. How about that? It was still sealed. So yeah, I just, like, the second you see a black metal CD in a used bin or like, you know, something weird like Goodwill or Salvation Army, you just like, okay, what else is there? I looked throughout the whole thing, and the only other metal thing I could find was the Control Denied album, which I already have a copy of. So, anyways, yeah, this is Ezurit. Album is called An Ending to Revelations, and I knew what I was getting into. I knew it was $1.88 was about the most I'd be willing to pay for this thing. It's very generic. I don't know. It's just, I can't really put my finger on what they're doing wrong, other than just nothing's good about it, hardly. Oh, I thought I was going to show you this. Check out this band photo. Pretty sure my mom tried to date this guy at one point. Loud, brutal, and evil metal music. Ezurit. These guys are from Illinois, so I used to talk to one of these guys on AOL chat. Lastly, I've got a Deceased CD. This is called Supernatural Addiction. And the reason I bought this is because in Eli's last video, Dark Hymns from the Cold North, great YouTuber, check him out. He recommended this as one of the great death metal albums post-2000. Now, this is a band, I don't know, I've probably heard them, I don't know. I don't know why I never got around to owning any Deceased, but the day has come where I now own a Deceased record. This is the highest reviewed Deceased album there is, so I bought it on Discogs for a couple of bucks. This is just a relapsed version, so I'm going to check this out. I really don't know what it's like. I know King Fowley is in this band, and he was in October 31st, who I have seen live, and I've talked with King Fowley a little bit. He's an awesome fucking dude. But yeah, I just don't know why I never really got around to listening to this band. I guess maybe I just always thought they were kind of like a cheesy thrash band or something. I don't know. Anyways, I hope this is as good as it is reviewed. And if it isn't, I don't know. I just paid $5 for it. Not a big deal. But that's a fun thing to own. So that's it for my collection update. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for subscribing. And have a good fucking day. Please.